Hello and welcome to the Third Best Deck. This is a Magic the Gathering podcast where we talk all things Commander. I'm one of your hosts, Nehemiah, joined today by Ka.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. I was just bored on Google and I just looked up our podcast and we get an AI overview, boys.
Ooh.
And we're supposedly a popular beginner friendly.
Popular, huh?
Popular, I know.
We're getting up there, boys.
We're getting there.
We've got
Thank
tens
you.
of subscribers.
We appreciate you guys who watch.
Of
Thank
course
you.
we do. Tell
Oh,
a
yeah.
friend.
Shout out.
At the other end of the table, we've got Lotus.
What's going on, guys? I'm Lotus, and today I'm going to be our local Rakdos burn player. Going to be pretty relevant for the episode today, but we'll get
Indeed.
into it.
Before we jump into our main topic, where we'll be ranking some Rakdos commanders, so you can maybe get an idea of what color combination, if you're in this, kind of area, you got a lot of cards for a good deck. We'll be going over all of those. But before we jump into the tier list proper, we got a little smoky. What are we doing today?
Yeah, so today we're going to bring back, I would say, a popular segment, since we're a popular beginner-friendly podcast, of Who's Your Daddy? And, of course, it's Rakdos. Rakdos, yep. I can't read or speak, it turns out. But yeah, so the card that we're looking for a commander deck in will be Mayhem Devil. It is black, red, and 1 devil. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, this creature deals 1 damage to any target. It's a 3/3. So I just thought an awesome, maybe unique one, I think, is Jan Jansen Chaos Crafter. And it's black, white, and red. Haste 3/3 human gnome artificer. Tap, sack an artifact creature, create 2 treasure tokens. Tap, sack a non-creature artifact, and create 2 1/1 colorless construct artifact creature tokens. So I'm thinking you sacrifice a artifact creature for Jan Jansen, and then you deal 1 damage to any target. You sacrifice the artifact creature, you get the pings. And for a maybe mean support card, I was thinking Grave Pact.
That's pretty good.
Triple black and 1. Whenever a creature you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. So I'm thinking when you're doing the artifact creature for those treasure tokens, you just make everyone else sacrifice as well. And then Mayhem Devil gets to ping a couple times.
That's
Pretty
pretty
good value.
solid.
I think that's kind of gross. So Nehemiah, what do you think?
So I just put this in a real life deck. So I built a Marchesa deck. I've had my eye on building a Marchesa deck for a long time. Marchesa is the black robe. It's a 4-mana Grixis, so 1 blue, black, red, 3/3. Has Dethrone, where if you're attacking the player with the most life or tied for the most life, you put a 1/1 counter on each creature. Well, that creature, she gives Dethrone to all your creatures as well. And then she has a static ability that says whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. I like her because a +1/+1 strategy in Grixis is not a normal thing. Typically, those are in white and green.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of forcing you to go out of the normal play pattern there with this color combination. So it does well in that deck because you're doing a lot of sacrificing for value. So my 2 support cards are Iron Apprentice, which is a 1-mana 0/0, but when it enters the battlefield, it comes with a 1/1 counter on it. And then whenever it dies, if it had a 1/1 counter on it, put those counters on target creature you control. So this is like super duper synergistic. Like when I played it the other day, this was like my best card in the deck.
Yeah.
Because it could put 1/1 counters on creatures that normally don't get them. And it's just a reoccurring, super easy to trigger. I don't actually have to attack to get that 1/1 counter on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I have that Mayhem Devil, I'm getting extra value on pinging, whatever I need to. But to do that, I have to sacrifice it. So I've got Ka's favorite card of all time, Viscerous here.
No.
1 mana, 1/1, sacrifice a creature, scry 1 to get that engine going.
Yeah, I don't like Aristocrats still.
Yeah. Aristocrats with +1/+1s. It's
No.
still a little better.
Yeah, it's a little different.
No, I don't like it.
There's blue.
Even worse.
There we go. Well, the card I chose, the daddy, right, I picked is Mogus, God of Slaughter. It's 2 and black red. It's an indestructible god, so it's a legendary enchantment creature god. It's a 7/5, but as long as your devotion to black and red is less than 7, it's not a creature, so you can't attack or block with it, right? And devotion, quick recap, is counting the colored pips in the mana cost of your permanents. And I think we said one of the previous episodes that I kind of like building devotion-based decks, so I picked this card, and then the Mayhem Devil are also, 2 pipped cards, so they play into that as well. But Mogus, has an effect where at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Mogus deals 2 damage to that player unless they sacrifice a creature. So my idea for this deck is kind of like a, I don't know, jigsaw type of deal where it's like a make your choice effects that happen where you have to sacrifice creatures or take damage. So that would synergize into it. If they do sacrifice the creature, then they take a damage. If they don't, they take 2. So obviously we're going to put more support cards to either force sacrifices or get more payoffs off of that. So I'm going to put in a Cursed Marauder. When he enters the battlefield, it's a zombie warrior. It's a 2/1 for 1 and a black. But when he enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a non-token creature. That includes yourself. And obviously you can just sacrifice the Accursed Marauder or any weird tokens you're generating to get that extra ping value off of it. And then we got Zoyowa Lava Tongue. It is a black and red mana for a 2/2 Goblin Warlock with Death Touch. And at the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, each opponent may discard a card or sacrifice a permanent. Zoyowa deals 3 damage to each opponent who didn't. So having Mogus and Zoyowa out, you get like the beginning of the turn, the end of the turn effects to make everyone make their choice, or you make these choices for them, and then you burn them down.
That sounds so fun. That sounds so fun. I can't wait to sit at the table and you make me choose.
Yeah,
have you
sacrifice
guys
all your creatures.
played against a Mogus before?
Yeah, I remember I played against this when there was Jeweled Lotus out. So I saw Mountain. Jeweled Lotus, turn 1 Mogus, and then you were just getting burned out from the get-go. It was rough.
I have not seen Mogus before. I only know Amogus. That's about it.
If you play it, games go super fast because usually the cards that go in there, like Descent to Avernus, it just speeds up commander games. You'll be playing like 40-minute commander games, no problem.
Yeah, someone's got to win.
Yep. Cool. All right, let's move on to our main topic. Dig our teeth into this Rakdos. What'd you call it?
I don't know.
It's Rakdos with rads.
It's Rakdos.
Rakdos, yes.
Rakdos?
Yeah, so for today's topic, right, we're going to be getting into the top 20, another tier list for you guys of Rakdos commanders, staying on theme today. So I'm going to be listing off some of the top 20 commanders here that are, obviously the most popular built. Some of them I'm going to give you guys my opinion on. We're going to be judging these based off of playability, table fun, and maybe build variety here and there for a few of them. Right, ranks are S through D, where D is basically just don't build. But I'm going to get us started, unless you guys have any
I will say on
ideas about this color.
When we're rating them, and we'll call this out, is we're basically giving 2 ratings. One for how powerful is this commander just in a vacuum, separate number or letter rather. And then the other half is what's the overall fun to the table. Now, sometimes it's like super fun for the pilot of the deck, but not fun for the table. So we'll average that part out. Or it could be vice versa, where it's just fun for everybody. It'll get a high score in that. And then we'll combine the two to get kind of a rough overall grade.
Yep. Cool. Well, card number 1, very popular. It's going to be Valgavoth, Harrower of Swords. It's the face commander of the Endless Punishment deck from, what's that set called again? Duskmourn, House of Horrors. So 2 black-red. You get an Elder Demon 4/4 with flying and ward, pay 2 life. Its effect is whenever an opponent loses life for the first time during each of their turns, you put a 1/1 counter on Valgavoth, Harrower of Souls, and you draw a card. Right off the bat, I think this one's power level is S, and table fun is A, so I'm putting it in S. Pretty high starting, but what do you guys think? Ka, what's your opinion on this guy? You got a pretty shocked face.
Definite S for power. This guy is insanely powerful, I think. And I've seen some upgraded versions of this guy, and I would not say it's A for table fun. That's what I was really shocked about. He is so good, so highly recommend. Like if you have the chance to get that precon, even out of the box, it's made to be like the arch enemy, right? That's what they call it. So which means you're basically designed to be played against 3 opponents when you're by yourself. So it's very strong out of the box. So highly recommend that. But I would not agree on that table fun part. I would say it's more of like it's an S in power and maybe a C, maybe in table fun. I would say just because like I don't know. I feel like the whole time you're just gonna be pinging me, and I'm like that's not fun. And you get to draw a card.
But you only need at least 1 damage.
Yeah, I know, but
just a little off the top. A little
surely it's
haircut.
not anymore, guys.
I just like my life. I love it. As the life gain guy at the table, I just love my life. Do not mess with my life.
Right.
You know?
Nehemiah, what about you?
So I do think it's powerful. I think the drawing, if you build your deck right, it's going to lead everybody to a very similar deck. I think if we clicked on the 27,000 decks that have been loaded to EDH Rec, 90% of the cards are pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
So from a fun aspect, I think it's one of those where maybe it starts higher for the pilot, where you build it and it's like S, and you're just having a grand old time. But because it's so powerful, that card advantage is really the problem with it.
Yep.
Black-red doesn't just get unabashed card draw.
Mm.
Usually there's some hoops to jump through with like Prosper, which we'll talk about later, I'm sure. So I think over time, your play group is going to have to target you quickly, right? Otherwise, the game is just going to get out of control. So sometimes it's fun to play as the arch nemesis. Sometimes it's not. So I think over time, your own enjoyment will start to bleed, as well as the table of like, oh, you're playing this again. You know, if you have 20 plus decks, it's great inclusion. You play it once in a while. I think you have a really good time. If you only plan to have like 3 decks,
yeah,
I probably wouldn't choose this one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's definitely very punishing, as the precon suggests. But the reason I gave it a higher rating is because I think there's a lot of build variety. You don't have to completely lean into that. Obviously, you'll put some pieces in there for it. But even if someone cracks a fetch land or uses a pain land or anything like that, you can still generate value off of that, which is what I like. So you can stray off the classic. But yeah, most of the time it's going to be the same thing. But I think overall, I'll probably give it an A. What's your road call?
I'm good with A. I'm also okay with putting it in S tier because like this, he does everything that this color wants to do, right? So when you think of these kinds of commanders, like I would agree with an A or an S. What do you think?
I know you guys like it a lot. I for newer players, I would say the warning you about how unfun this could be to the table, maybe putting at a B is more like accurate. So maybe an A just to be like, hey, don't expect universal praise when you pull this deck out.
Slight warning on this guy.
That's fair.
Cool. So Vagavoth is going to be at an A. Next up, we've got another one that's coming out of Final Fantasy. This is going to be Kuja, Genome Sorcerer. It's 2 mana, black-red for a human mutant wizard. He's a 3/4. And at the beginning of your end step, you create a tapped 0/1 black wizard with whenever you cast it on creature spell, this token deals 1 damage to each opponent. Then if you control 4 or more wizards, which Kuja is one of them, he'll transform into Trans Kuja, Fate Defied, an avatar wizard. He's a 4/6, and if a wizard you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage instead. Nehemiah, what do you think of this guy?
Man, these Final Fantasy commanders are like so obviously powerful and good, and it's no surprise that so many of them end up in the higher rankings on EDH as far as how many people are building decks on them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a similar thing. I mean, this makes sense, right? Because we're starting from the top and working our way down the list. But I think this is super fun for the pilot to build. I think the process of making the deck, especially if you build it from scratch, would be very enjoyable of like, oh, red-black wizards is kind of a very narrow, specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be a lot of fun to build. Again, your 10th time playing it, if you don't have a lot of decks, people are probably going to get annoyed by it. I think this is less egregious than Vagavoth because it doesn't have inherent like card advantage,
Right.
other than just spitting out those dudes, which are good to have, even just for chump blockers and stuff like that. It's nice. So I don't know. I think power is probably an A, and then I want to put it at like a B for fun, but I'm fine with A on this one as well.
Okay. Kyle, what about you?
I've seen your deck on this, and I hated it.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's very strong. Like, as you brought up, Nehemiah, like having those chump blockers is really good. But also, like, when I've at least seen like Lotus play this deck, he would just make a bunch of wizards, and then he's like, I don't care, just hit me. And then he just either adds lifelink to something, so then he just heals all of it back, and then you have a million like creatures, which is cool. Like obviously, yeah, board wipe would like kind of ruin your plan, but I think that I definitely agree with you, Nehemiah, where the power is definitely an A for sure. I think the funability, that's a new word I'm gonna put in the dictionary. I I think this is definitely like a B or a C for me for a whole commander, like to like taking everything into account and like think of like build variety, taking that into account. I'm not really sure how like deep you can go into it. Like I'm sure there's tons of cards I don't even know about that like would make it a unique build. And as you were saying that like the like black red wizards, that is really hard to find. But I feel like since he makes wizards and with Final Fantasy card support that makes extra O1 black wizards, that you kind of get like the same card. So I think I would kind of put it in like a C. Honestly.
Yeah, so I have this deck built online and I give it a C because it is really strong at what it does. Like there's been turns, I'm like, yeah, just hit me, I don't care. And the next turn I cast like 3 cantrips of sort with Trans Kuja flipped over and you just deal like 24 damage to the whole table. So, and a lot of the deck lists I've seen online too are super similar. You play all the same cards. Some people will play cantrips, people will just play a lot of rituals. Every damage doubler is in here in red. And it ends up being more annoying to deal with than like Valgavoth's like little pings constantly, right? Where this one is like, okay, 1 turn, 16 damage, 1 turn, 24 damage. Like, good luck, dude. It definitely puts a way bigger target on your back. And I only played it like 3 or 4 times before I got sick of it. So for me, I gave it a C. But so we've got a B and 2 C's. So I guess we're locking in Kuja on C tier. But next up is going to be Deadpool trading card. Coming straight from Secret Lair with no other printings, it's 2 and a black red for a 5/3 mutant mercenary hero. And he's pretty interesting. As he enters, right, you can exchange his text block and another creature's at the beginning, and then his normal effect, or what you trade for, I guess, that creature's going to have at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 3 life. Then you can pay 3 mana, sacrifice this creature, and each other player draws a card. Scott, what's your opinion on Deadpool?
I think Deadpool is one thing I wish they did with some other universes beyond cards, is they printed like an in-universe edition of Deadpool. Maybe Marvel just didn't want to have that, I guess, with their agreement with Wizards. Just because I feel like gatekeeping this card to a secret lair is like, I don't know, kind of annoying. Well, I don't know, I got one, thankfully, but like some people didn't who really want it, and then now they're paying what's the price? $20?
Yeah, 22.
$22 for this one commander card, when I think you can print the universes within card and more accessibility. But about the card itself, I think that its strength comes off of the other cards your opponents are playing. So I think it's a very good effect. It's an annoying effect for the table, for sure. Like especially you switch like, oh, you're playing a really good commander. Let me just switch the text box. And you're like, dang, I'm not playing my commander anymore. Now someone else is. Like that part is kind of annoying. I think, but like power wise, I think it's probably a B, just because it's so dependent on what the other creatures are out on the battlefield. So I think, yeah, I don't know. Nehemiah, I know you have one of a Deadpool deck and you like it. So
I love it. And everybody is right about the card in the sense that people that hate it, it's because it's so powerful. It's really unfun to the other players on the table, because not only are you taking away their best thing, but you're giving them this disease that they have to deal with, right? So it's like, I stole your car and gave you COVID. Like, it just sucks, you know? So it's tough, because usually in these kind of commanders that are very powerful and unfun to play against, I'm usually got my pitchfork and I want to convince people to not play those things. And this card just makes me a hypocrite, because I love the play pattern of this, of a Rakdos bounce. You know, we talked about Azorius bounce and how so many of those commanders are just blinking things.
Yep.
And so blink more than bounce, I should say. And so to do that in red black is super unique. There is not another commander that does this.
Yeah.
And so when you build it, it's like all the fun of those blue white decks with the cool, weird, it scratches my brain in a different way mechanic of red and black doing it.
Yeah.
And so, putting all these like instant speed effects that make it so that when your creature dies, it comes back, and then doing an Isochron Scepter to like keep doing that over and over again is super interesting to me. And so it's powerful. It's got a lot of optionality. I like in Magic making interesting decisions and just playing like the last two commanders we picked. It's just you do the thing, right? There's not a lot of decisions to be made.
Yeah.
You just do it. Where Deadpool is like, which creature do I want Deadpool to be? Am I blinking him and just, machine gunning through everybody? Or am I just picking somebody else's creature and keeping that effect and then changing my game plan to match that creature?
Yeah.
That's super fun. So as far as like fun for you, the pilot, it's like S+++++. It might be the most fun commander for the pilot to play, in my opinion, in all of Magic, because it's powerful, it's optionality, it doesn't play out the same way, because it depends on what your opponents are playing. It's going to completely change your strategy. Having said that, it sucks to have Deadpool take your strategy from you, right?
Yep.
So I have it like how powerful it is like super, super high. And then I'm going to average S+++ for the pilot and like D tier for everybody else to a C.
Mm-hmm.
So then C plus S, I want to put it in a B.
Okay.
Put it in a
Yeah.
B.
I like that. I was thinking, basically a B as well. Like, yeah, super strong, very good at what it does. It, you remove everyone's best pieces, combo pieces to make sure that you're getting ahead, and then you're burning them for it. And if they're not playing recursion to get their stuff back, then, you're just cooking them out of whatever they're trying to do. But then being cooked out of whatever you're trying to do just constantly, especially because you'll play a lot of like split and half effects. Maybe you'll throw like a mirror box in there to keep those extra copies of whatever Deadpool becomes, is just, really good, but also really annoying to the other guys. So yeah, I think averaging it out to a B is super fair for Deadpool.
Agreed.
Nice. So Deadpool goes to B. Next up, we have another one that I think is going to be really good. It's Prosper Tomebound. He's 2 black-red. He's a Tiefling Warlock, a 1/4 with Death Touch, and at the beginning of your end step, exile that top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. And then whenever you play a card from exile, create a treasure token. I think this is another card that's probably S tier worthy, but Nehemiah, what do you have to say about this guy?
100%. Yeah. For a long time, this was the most popular commander on the list because the top 3 we just talked about have come out in the last like 2 years, I'm going to say. But before that, Prosper was the king for a long time. It seems at first like a very narrow ability, but because they're doing treasures in red as like their shtick, and the impulse draw, which is exile and you can play it this turn or until your next turn kind of draw, they've been leaning into that mechanic a lot over the last few years. So the meme is it's good in Prosper. That's like the meme, and it's true. I mean, if we changed Commander to be like 400 cards instead of 100 cards, aside from annoying shuffle patterns, Prosper, I think, would be the best deck there is because everything works so well with it that it would be the most consistent commander and still be powerful. So power, S, unfun to play against. Like, you have to kill Prosper. Like, you have to.
Yeah.
So if you play against, like, your newer players, like if you're, teaching your friends how to play and they have precons, don't play Prosper. You're going to completely run them over. But if you're playing responsible Magic the Gathering Commander players who have removal, killing Prosper twice usually takes care of it as long as he didn't get too many treasures out in the time that he was around. Otherwise, it kind of pays for himself to keep being played over and over. So as long as everybody knows to kill the commander, you're usually fine.
Kyle, what about you?
I've never seen Prosper actually until just now. Okay. So I was like, man, Revel and Riches would be so good. Like,
It's good and prosper.
yeah, great and prosper, right? So I think this is pretty cool. I see basically essentially you're drawing 2 cards a turn, like, which is really powerful, as we were talking with Vagavoth, like how he has inherent card advantage. And I think that I think Prosper is just really good for what I've seen, especially the Death Touch. You just have like he's a pretty good blocker or get like a deterrent not to like get hit. So I don't know. I kind of like it. I think I've never seen it, never played against it, so I can't really determine if it's not fun to be.
I'll tell you just since you haven't seen it. So that pack boon part, when you play a card from exile, create a treasure token, they end up being kind of pervert like churns where the Prosper players like got a non-deterministic way to win the game because they can potentially make 30 treasures that churn if they play it all in the right order. So they just get analysis paralysis sometimes. So it's kind of unfun to play against, not just because it's powerful, but because you're going to watch them take 20-minute churns.
All right. So
so what's y'all's ratings?
I'm low.
I think I give it an S because I think Prosper's a card that scales with the player, right? So I feel like you could play Prosper as like a very easy bracket 2, something relaxed, generating decent value off of him and like a, bracket 2, maybe even bracket 1 type of deck where you can make something fun. But obviously you can easily scale up Prosper up to a high 4, something just really powerful or overbearing or have these like really big turns. But I think if you're a better player, it just gets even better. So that's why I think it's an S, because you can play it at all ranks.
I like that point. The problem is if you're trying to take like a more casual version of him, other people won't trust that and they're gonna pummel you.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's kind of how you have to play against Prosper to not just have these really unfun play patterns.
So we've got an S. We've got
I'm not really sure yet, to be honest. I kind of want to hear what Nehemiah has to say.
Nehemiah?
Power is S. Unfun is pretty unfun. I would say like D tier, because even for the pilot themselves, it's kind of taxing on the brain to like sequence everything like correctly. And since you're exiling off the top with a lot of those impulse draws, you don't know what your hand is yet. And so I put it in a D tier on the fun part. So I'm fine with a C of like, hey, if you want to play this and try to get better at Magic, there's a, literally goldfish the deck maybe of like, you could have fun just playing your own churns with this and don't even play against other people so you don't have to subject them to this.
Yeah.
It might help you with like your sequencing patterns and your play.
So probably
like,
overall
lines.
like a B then.
I want to put it in a C. I'm
Okay.
going to offer it my C. But
all right, so we got S, we got C, Ka, B or A. It's up to you.
He said C.
Yeah.
Oh, so I can choose B or A?
Yeah, you'll pick the average basically.
I think for the average, I think it's B for the average. Because like S to D, now see right in the middle should be B. That's why I would say that.
All right.
For strictly average purposes, I think B.
Sounds good. We'll move on to the next one. This next one I think is pretty quick. I think we'll have pretty easy opinions on it. It's Judith, Carnage Connoisseur. 5 mana, 3 black, red for a 3/4 human shaman with whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, choose one. That spell gains death touch and lifelink, or you make a 2/2 red imp that whenever it dies, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. Ka, how does that sound to you?
Awful. It sounds strong, but
Yeah.
it's very strong, but it sounds awful for me. I think
like unfun awful or not powerful awful?
I think unfun.
Mm-hmm.
Because getting this spell Death Touch and Lifelink is pretty cool actually. So
sounds super cool.
It does sound really cool, but like I'm trying to think like where you're just like gonna lightning bolt and then Death Touch things.
There's 2 mana sorceries where you overload it and it deals 1 damage to each.
There's 1
creature.
mana sorceries that deal 1 damage to each creature.
Yeah.
I feel pretty strongly
just
about
1
this
mana
one being
wraths.
D because it just turns into board wipe tribal.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it sucks.
I agree. No board wipe tribal. D.
Nehemiah, any variants?
I don't know. If you can't figure out how to kill Judith, like she's 5 mana.
Yeah.
Not a lot. Like if you kill Judith, they just have a bunch of sorceries that do 1 damage. It's like
That's why I also think it's pretty bad.
Whatever. Like, so I think it's more like a B on power, and I think a B on like unfun because it's like feast or famine as far as like I think it would be interesting to play against because your opponents have tough decisions to make. How many creatures do I commit to the board? Do I have a plan for when Judith comes down? Like that kind of stuff. It's not oppressive, but it is powerful in the right situation. So I kind of BB.
Okay. Well, we've got 2 Ds. I think that's going to outweigh on the do not build just because it ends up being board wipe trouble. But yeah, and even if not, if you blow it up once and they're just stuck, their deck's not going to be doing anything after that. So I think it's just, super feast or famine. And in Magic, I'd rather have someone play a little more.
I think you could try to convince the table, hey, bro, I'm just going to create imps. I'm just going to do imps.
Yeah, if someone truly made an imp version of this deck, that'd be cool. But I've never seen it. But the next one here is coming from Bloomberg. It's Gev Scaled Scorch. He's a 3/2 for black and red, a lizard mercenary, also with ward paid 2 life. Other creatures you control enter with an additional 1/1 counter on them for each opponent who lost life this turn. And whenever you cast a lizard spell, Gev deals 1 damage to target opponent. Ka, what do you think of this little guy?
Honestly, I think that's kind of cool. With the lizards, because I feel like lizard is not a very like super common creature type. So maybe some Maskwood Nexus action getting into there, because red you can tutor artifacts, right? So get Maskwood Nexus and then throw down like an Eldrazi lizard. Maybe that can be fun. I'm kidding. Partially.
Get that extra 1 damage in.
Yeah, exactly. And Annihilator, nothing crazy. But yeah, I actually kind of like this guy. I think that seems like a very unique way. It's like for each opponent that lost life this turn, you get an additional 1/1 counter. So maybe a bunch of like little guys, like one cost lizards, and you just spam out, and then they're bigger lizards.
Yeah.
And then I like it. I think this could be I would say maybe a B for power, maybe A for power, and then maybe unfun for the table. I don't know. I think maybe C for the table. Okay. I would say, just because it's similar to like Vagavoth, where you're like, oh, I'm just gonna ping you, and then it's like kind of annoying. So I think C there. Build variety, I don't think I'm well versed enough to know if there's actual build variety besides Maskwood Nexus. So I'm gonna throw it to you.
I think this is good. It's in my Marchesa deck because I put 1/1 counters on creatures. So it's good in the 99 in a lot of builds too. I think you can just ignore the lizard part and just focus on the 1/1 counters. So I think it's actually way more powerful. If you were limiting your deck to only lizards, you're using more of the card, but your deck is worse.
Okay.
So I think there's some flexibility there of like you can kind of scale the power of the deck to your play group, and that's totally fine. So I think A, but more that like not in power, more in like flexibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Power would be more like a B, but fun. B. I'm fine with like a B, maybe even A. Somebody could talk me into an A just for the flexibility of it. But
okay, so we've got 2 Bs. Yeah, I agree with B for sure. The lizard, building into a lizard deck is pretty cool too, because a lot of there's like Spitfire Lagok. There's like the landfall lizard too, where like if someone plays a land, they take a damage.
Yep.
So you can lean into that and still support the deck, but if not, it's Rakdos. Yeah, there's a million cards that are gonna do the same thing you want, and you just get big creatures, which is pretty cool. So good build variety, not overbearing. It's in Rakdos. We know what to expect. So yeah, I think B is pretty solid. Next up, same set, also from Bloom Bureau, is the infamous Cruel Claw. He's 1 black-red for a 3/3 Weasel mercenary with Menace. And whenever infamous Cruel Claw deals combat damage to a player, you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card, any non-land card. And then you can cast that card by discarding a card rather than paying its mana cost.
me.
Yep. What do you think, DMI?
It's good and prosper.
Yes, sir. You exile that card. So what would you say your rating is for Cruel Claw then?
Yeah, I think it's a fine card. If you built a deck for Prosper and then people are sick of seeing Prosper, you could just replace Prosper with this and have a functional deck like on its ability. And so maybe its value is in the fact that it's not as powerful as Prosper. And then you still get to play the deck that you invested in. So I don't know. I'm kind of meh on it because to me, it's not doing anything super unique when you already have something way better that kind of is the same strategy. but that's also might be why you pick it is to not be as powerful. So I don't know where to really rate it. I think power level B, maybe fun to play. It just doesn't resonate with me, but that doesn't mean I don't think you should build it. It's not like unfun for people any more than anything else. So I don't know. It's like a B, but I like don't like it.
Uninspired.
Yeah.
I feel that. Kyle, what about you?
Honestly, all the decks I've seen with this guy is just the meme decks with 98 lands and Worldfire, and then you just
hit someone and make them.
You hit someone, and yeah, exactly. I would probably agree with you on the B rating. Like, to me, it's nothing super special, so I don't think we need to harp on it. I think B's bravo. You know?
I think B is definitely a good tier for it. You can play it like Mayhem or what's the new one, like the new Madness. Mayhem and Madness, which are the new effects that came out to give them a little bit more support. Mild gambling deck, if that's what you're into, and I think that's kind of fun, so I give it a B. Up next also is straight from Universes Beyond and Secret Lair. It is Shadow the Hedgehog. It is black, red for a 4/2 Hedgehog mercenary with haste. Whenever Shadow or another creature you control with Flash or Haste dies, you draw a card. Then it has Chaos Control. Each spell you cast has split second if mana from an artifact were used to cast it. Split second means that as long as it's on the stack, players can't cast spells or activated abilities that aren't mana abilities. So it gets really hard to counter any of your stuff. But, Kyle, what do you think of this guy?
I think, at least to my understanding, I haven't kept up with this, but I feel like Shadow is like really good in EDH, like cEDH. Like, because you basically have like uncounterable spells essentially, and that's really strong. And with like all the mana rocks you have in cEDH, like you basically have uncounterable win cons, and then you just sit there Underworld Breach and just win the game. So I'd assume that. I'm not really sure if like that's really like the real meta of cEDH. I don't play it. I don't know. It seems really good with inherent card draw. So I think honestly for power, it's an S. Build variety, I'm not really sure, so I can't really give a grade on that. So I would say fun level, I think it really is super dependent on the deck that you built with Shadow to make it either unfun or fun. So I'm okay with keeping like an A.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Cool. Nehemiah?
I like it a lot, actually. I think this is kind of fun. It's haste and flash tribal.
Yep.
Which is unique. There's some haste stuff out there, especially in Jund, black, white, or black, red, green. So I think if you play this fairly, because what you're saying about the cEDH is 100% true. But if you're building a normal, bracket 3, bracket 4 deck, I think you could have fun with this. And it's not super scary, right? It's like you had to already have a creature die for you to get the card back. So it's more of a reactionary to kind of put a lid on the power of it. And I think that is better for gameplay, both for you and for the table. And then has that little, chaos control rider of the artifact thing. It's like play treasures, bro. Like
you're in red. It's happening.
You don't have to do like actual mana rocks and like still play land ramp like we tell you to in our episodes. But the treasures alone will make it really useful to do something sometimes. Maybe you wrath the board and just making sure that the wrath goes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. The flash part, I haven't looked it up, but I don't think there's a lot of flash creatures in red and black. Typically those are in like blue or white. But there's a million creatures with haste. So you could have some fun building the deck.
Do you think that Shadow is better in the 99 than as your commander? Because you're saying about Jund earlier with like green. So
there's
it's like
builds that would include him if they're haste tribal. I'm more interested in playing Shadow as the commander, though. I think it's unique enough and fun enough that I would be interested.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's the rating?
I mean, S for power, we kind of have to, and then like A for fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd be fine with A or S.
Got 2 A's for Shadow.
Yeah,
2
A's.
I can give him an A. I definitely think there's a lot of fun ways to build him. He scales as you go higher up in brackets. But I think I don't know. He asked to be
honestly,
built a little
I
better.
think we should do S because it's not super oppressive and it has the potential to be very
True.
powerful.
Yeah, to be super fun.
Like if we're giving advice on like what to invest in, I think this is a S tier level card.
Okay.
Okay.
Kyle? Back to S or still on A?
Just because he's a hedgehog mercenary, I'll go S.
I think just because it's Shadow the Hedgehog, I'll go with S too. I was going to give him an A, but we'll move him up there. Next up, another one cEDH relevant as well is going to be Ob Nixilis Captive Kingpin. It's 2 black-red for a 4/3 demon with flying and trample. And whenever one or more opponents each lose exactly 1 life, you put a 1/1 counter on Ob Nixilis, then you exile the top card of your library. Until your next end step, you can play that card. So another one that's good in Frostfur. So, Nehemiah, what's your opinion on this guy?
Yeah, I have this card. I didn't realize it was $20. I might have to sell it. But I could see how this again would be fun to build. The 1/1 counter stuff is showing up more and more in Rakdos. I think that was a design decision on Watsy's part recently, because before 2020 there was very little 1/1 counter stuff going on in red black. So that's kind of interesting to see here. The exile the top card of the library until next end step, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know why, but just that mechanic, like I understand regular instances and sorceries having that. I'm kind of sick of seeing the synergy on the commander. Doesn't mean it's not good. This is kind of similar to the infamous Cruel Claw, where it's like, it's good, it's fine. It's just not tickling my fancy.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm trying to remain like objective, you could build a very powerful deck. I don't know how fun it would be to play against on the regular. So maybe like A+ on power and maybe a C+ on fun.
Okay. Kyle?
Flying Trample 4/3. Wow. That's for 4. That's pretty good, you know. And then I don't know. This reminds me of like Gerson Starn,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever his name is, in blue. And is it? I don't know. I know it's very powerful. Like dealing 1 damage, there's a lot of way to make everyone take 1 damage in these colors. I think it's very powerful. I agree with the A+. Like I said, build variety. I think it's very similar. I think I agree with Nehemiah with the B or A. Like I think it's a very good card.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a very good card. And with, I don't know, maybe you've seen it. Is it like in a lot of cEDH? Like I said, I'm not too familiar with the format.
Yeah, it's pretty cEDH viable for this version of Ob Nixilis.
Gotcha.
Just because you basically get card draw, and there's just a ton of ways you can just spam ping that and draw a lot of cards.
Gotcha.
But
It's the same combo in mono black decks forever of like,
yeah,
you know, the zombie that comes back as long as you have a zombie and you sack it with Phyrexian Altar,
Yep.
and then you can pay the mana again. So every time you do that, you can, you know, pile up a ton of cards and get
Gotcha.
through your whole deck. And you'll have pervert churns, but it's not like every single churn is a pervert churn like it will be with Prosper.
Gotcha.
yeah. In cEDH, it's make infinite mana, draw your whole deck,
Yeah.
win.
Yeah.
But I think other ways to play it, you know, you just play it classic Rakdos burn, just except for 1 damage, not trying to make everyone take any more, and then you just make them bigger and you just swing in. I like lower brackets.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty fun,
You
not
can
super
make it
overbearing.
fair. You
So
can-
I'd give him an A.
You just have to really tell people, like, honest, here's my deck list.
Yeah, it's not like a cEDH version.
You know?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll put him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Cool. Another one is Rakdos, Lord of Riots. He is black, red. You can't cast a spell unless an opponent lost life this turn. It's a flying trample 6/6, and creature spells you cast cost 1 less for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. So typical Rakdos shenanigans we're dealing with, you know, burn people up, cast things. Ka, what's your vote on him though?
I think it's pretty cool actually, because like it's like a like quote unquote like a detractor of like you can't cast anything unless someone lost life. So I think it's pretty unique actually from what I've seen so far. So flying trample 6/6 for 4 mana, even better. What? And they cost 1 less to cast for each 1 life.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I think that's cool. That seems like I would say A for power if it didn't have the bad text on it. So I'd say B for power.
Okay.
I would say. But it is a 6/6 flying for 4 mana, so maybe B+. And the creature spells costing less, and I know we're kind of talking about it all show. Like you can really like make everyone take damage pretty easily in these colors. So you can have like some really big creatures for real cheap, and I don't know, I kind of like that. I would give him like a B or an A.
Okay.
That's what I would do. What do you think, Nehemiah?
I have a lot of nostalgia boosting this card because it's from Return to Ravnica from like 2012, and it got reprinted. But this has been in my Angel deck or what's her name? Aurelia. She's been in that, or it's been in that deck for a long time because you could cheat them out on turn 4, and then you're whacking people for a bunch early on, and so you can like put an angel into play or a demon into play, do damage, and then just hard cast another one after. So it can lead to some really powerful plays. As a commander itself, I've never done that. I've never tried it. I never built a deck around it, even though I think it would be a fun build.
There you go. So next step, deck idea.
There you go.
Yeah. So power, obviously, it's going to be caps. It's kind of like high range of like the low is you can't cast the spell to, I'm making all my stuff super duper cheap and just kind of snowballing out of control. So I think, B, I guess, on power then.
Okay.
And then fun, we're not rating it as a card in the 99 because I'd rate it higher. I'd probably put a B.
Okay. Yeah.
B for both.
I definitely agree with B on these guys. You guys basically covered everything I want to say. Next up, this one I find is actually very interesting, very fun. Is going to be Rowan, Sign of War, 1 black-red for a 4/2 human wizard with menace. You can tap Rowan to make spells you cast this turn that are black or red cost X less, where X is the amount of life you lost this turn. You can activate it only as a sorcery. This is basically the reverse of Rakdos. I think fun-wise, power-wise, this one's probably like an A, B, so like B+, I'd say. But Nehemiah, what do you think of Rowan?
Yeah, the reason I like this from capping the power, because I don't want everything to be like a S tier in power, because usually that tends to be over time lower on the fun list for your friends. I think the fact that this is tap, so you only get to do it the one time unless you're going out of your way to untap him, I think it's really a good way to cap the level of it. So you're going for one big spell a turn instead of like everything is super duper cheap. Making, Eldrazi or something like that come out. I guess they're not colored, but so yeah, power, I think, B, but fun, maybe an A. I think it could be really fun.
Cool.
I think it's very unique. I like that. And black or red as sorcery into 4/2 menace, even as a 3 cost, like without the tap ability, I think Rowan's a pretty good card. Like I feel like you'd play it, and it can go into the gnome guy, the wizard dude, Kuja. So like I think it's pretty good. I would agree with the A on power, and I think unique, like my unique score, Kaz unique score, I'm gonna give this like an S for uniqueness. So I'm leaning more towards the A just because I'm just kind of more curious and I kind of want to see more people play it.
Yeah, totally.
Actually,
cool.
I have a joke for you guys.
Let's hear it.
How do you catch a special rabbit?
You Rowan?
Unique up on it.
Wait, what?
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
You sneak up on it? Or unique because it's special?
Oh, it's unique.
I get it. That's
My
funny.
bad.
Cool. So Rowan is an A then.
We'll put him in A.
Sweet. That's a girl. That's the lady. That's the twin sister.
Who?
Will and Rowan Kenrith. They're Kenrith the Returned King's children.
Oh,
Anyways,
yeah.
Next up is
I knew
going to
that.
be Strefan Morer Progenitor. It is a vampire noble for 2 black-red. He's a 3/2 with flying. At the beginning of your end step, create a blood token for each player who lost life this turn, back on the Rakdos stuff. And then whenever he attacks, you may sacrifice 2 blood tokens. If you do, you may put a vampire card from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking, and it gains indestructible until end of turn. Nehemiah, what do you think of that one?
It's good. I don't like how it's templated. It's like the kind of card that when somebody else is playing it, you're like, what's that guy do again? And then 2 turns later, what does that guy do again? like you have to ask every like 2 minutes because it's like, okay, somebody gets blood tokens and you sack them, and then like 8 things happen. Like, so I don't like it from a design aspect of it's like if this, then that, then that, and then that. It's a little annoying.
Yeah.
Power, I think it's probably A when I do the arithmetic on this one. Like, why does it have the indestructible clause on there? Like, it's
Is he indestructible or are they? Like so many questions.
Exactly. It's like, am I donating blood? Who's donating blood? I'm like, I don't get it. I think it'd be fun for the pilot, and everybody else will just be confused.
Yeah.
So maybe a B.
Okay. Fair.
B. I think this just reminds me of Clea the Vast, just with vampires. So I think it's a worse of that with the extra claws, but does give indestructible, which is kind of cool.
Mhm.
I think it's very dependent on what you need. So yeah, I kind of agree with the B. It's just it's whatever. Like it's
Okay.
good. It really depends what you build.
You think that's not more of like a C, just an deck?
The card
'Cause
is
I'd give it a
but I
C.
think the deck is good
yeah.
if you build them around him.
Yeah, it's definitely good.
I
It's
don't know.
definitely like Kalia the Vast. I give it a C just because you're right. Like it does make a confusing thing. I remember the first time I played against this, everyone was almost like, "Wait, that vampire's indestructible?" And we're like, "Oh my god, we forgot." Like, let me change up my blocks. Like I'll take the damage or whatever.
Yeah.
It just ends up being mildly annoying to track, but obviously if you know it, it's you know what's coming.
You convinced me to lower my grade. I'll give it a C.
Okay.
We'll do C. I think
We-
C is okay.
C for confusion.
Yeah,
Yeah, C for
exactly.
confusion. All right, so Stefan is a C. Next up is Cardur Doomscourge. It is 2 black-red for a 4/3 Demon Berserker, and when he enters, until your next turn, creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able, and attack a player other than you if able. So they're basically goated. And then whenever an attacking creature dies, just in general, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Ka, what do you think of Cardur?
I'm not sure because I think that if you're playing this deck, wouldn't you just want to wait till your opponents have like a big board and you just go at everything and then you're kind of like in a little bubble for a little bit
Mm-hmm.
where everyone's just goated, just whacking at each other, and then you're just like not playing your commander because why would you play this turn 4 with nothing on the board? You know, it's kind of useless. So it's like you're not really playing. Like you just have like almost like protection whenever you want on your turn, right? In the command zone, which is cool. But and then whenever time creature dies, each opponent loses. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you just fill this with what? A bunch of like goad givers.
Nah. This is what you do.
No.
This is what you do.
Yeah, what would you do?
You built a Deadpool deck. Okay. Everybody's sick of playing against Deadpool. You take Deadpool out and you put this guy as your commander. And
Okay.
you blink him.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's go Deadpool. Or,
Yeah.
same strategy, but go.
Same strategy.
What do we give
You're-
Deadpool?
You're like sacrificing him and bringing him back
I think we gave Deadpool a B overall.
because
Okay.
it's unfun to play against.
Yeah.
True. So let's.
So I might rate this one actually higher because it's a similar, like, if you can flicker it or, kind of sack flicker it, which,
Okay.
Rakdos can do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a super fun. I love goading type strategies because it's more social. It's like, okay, you got to attack somebody, not me, but you still have to decide which one of the other 2 people to attack. So
Mhm.
there's a lot more discussion, more people are involved
Yep.
in what you're doing instead of just shutting the one person down who you use Deadpool on. So I think it's like an S on fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then power is probably somewhere a B. If you don't draw that stuff, then what you're saying is true of like, oh, I got to wait to play it at the right time. And this just happens once.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like the fun of the build, right?
So
So
A
you
overall.
think A.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good with A.
Yeah, I agree. Except for everything exactly that Nehemiah said, this card's an A. I love, as I've said, like making the game social, making it like political. So A for Cardur. Next up is going to be Laughing Jasper Flint. It is 1 black-red for a 4/3 Lizard Rogue. Creatures you control but don't own are mercenaries in addition to their other types. And at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top X cards of target opponent's library, where X is the number of outlaws you control. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among those cards, and mana value of any type can be used to cast those spells. Importantly, mercenaries are outlaws. There's a couple other types, but whatever. Nehemiah, what do you think of Laughing Jasper Flint?
I got this, I think, in maybe it didn't come in the
Yeah, it came out in
Re-
Outlaws, just in the main
yeah,
set.
Yeah, I got it, and I was it's one of those cards where you have to read over and over again of like, this creatures you own but control but don't own on a Tuesday have this job type, and that's relevant sometimes because of this, and then that happens. But don't forget, you can cast things of any color. Like, it's a bad read, And so you need to like buy 4 of these so you can give 3 to your friends. Be like, here, you can just read it whenever you get confused. Other than that, I think it's a fun restriction, of like stealing stuff. I like that mechanic too.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to use other people's creatures against them and having some kind of benefit. I think the strategy is fun. It's not the same just impulse draw treasure build that most Rakdos things are doing. So for fun, it might be as high as an A. Power is like C, maybe a B, because you're really trying to jump through a lot of hoops just to get this effect.
Yeah.
And it does have a high confusion score. So I don't know, B, I think.
Okay.
Surprisingly, overall.
Cost confusion maxed out. Because I'm like, what's an outlaw? I don't know what that is.
You have to remind it.
Right?
It's like assassins, pirates, mercenaries, and warlocks. And then I think
rogues.
and rogues.
Rogues, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, no, miss me with that garbage. Put that shit in D. Don't build this shit. I don't want to see it.
I definitely think he's kind of a C. I think Jasper would be a lot more fun if it read like the new Maryland, which is like, you exile equal to the number of outlaws and you can cast something equal or less than do it. I think it would be a lot easier. It's the new Elf Commander from the new Lorwyn set with the feet out. Wait, no, not with the feet
not the
out.
feet, no feet. It's
just the regular. It's just
the regular one.
Yeah, it's the 3-color one.
Non-feet one.
Yeah, I think Jasper would be easily an A if it was templated more like that. But because it's not, I think I give it like a C.
You know what? There's a creature type that you would assume is in Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these different job types, right? Like so many different jobs. It's like LinkedIn on job types. Not a single Magic the Gathering card has the job of thief.
I think they just templated it over Rogue, but I wish there was thief.
Yeah.
For like the ones that like steal cards.
Yeah.
We got heroes coming out
Yeah.
in Marvel.
More villains.
Get excited.
Yeah.
But Jasper's going to be
thief.
overall a C.
See? Yeah.
And he should be a thief. There you go. Next up is going to be Jury Master of the Review. Black red for a 1/1 human shaman. And whenever you sacrifice a permanent, you put a 1/1 on Jury. And then whenever Jury dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Nehemiah, what do you think of that one?
Yep, this is in my Marchesa deck. It's very powerful, especially if you have ways to constantly do things over and over again. If you can sack her and she has a bunch of power, and then bring her back, put a bunch of 1/1 counters on her, and sack her again, it's really powerful. So as a 99, S. As a commander, it leads you right down the same path as most. This is, bounce for Rakdos is sacrificing stuff and pinging people, right? She does the thing. So I think it's very powerful. S on power, D for don't build because it's super unfun. When it's in the 99, it's like, wow, that card did work when you drew it.
Yeah,
but if it was like there every time, she's only 2 mana. It's like, how many times you got to kill it before they can't just play her again?
True.
It'd be very toxic to play against.
So you think don't build? Yeah. No, I kind of agree with you because I believe you drew this when we played again, and you were just blowing up our board frequently, and I was just like, I'm done with this. I'm done. I think this is really strong. Agree on that point, like, because you can sacrifice treasures, literally anything, and in black and red you have so many ways to have sack outlets with like what Viserys here, whatever that card is. I hate it. You can just do that and get like there's so many ways for you guys to do this and like kind of combo. So let's not build this one.
Okay, two on D. I was gonna give it a C. Main thing on the downside, I think a really big thing on the downside as a commander is, how many times are you able to kill this successfully and then, build up those counters to keep playing it, to keep doing the thing your deck wants to do. And then I think if it was to each opponent, it would be better. That way you can just, make Jury a big bomb and just try and win the game from there.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I think it's too slow.
That would be cool though.
Right. But
they should make a card like that.
Overall, D for Jury.
If Gravecrawler goes in the deck, I'm rating it lower. That's the 1 mana.
Yep.
2/1 comes back if you have a zombie.
Sack it a million times, make infinite mana.
Yeah.
Blow up Jury. Next up is going to be a card that's a reference to what I said earlier, how I really like Saw and Make Your Choice things, is the Lord of Pain. 3 black red. It's the alt commander from the Duskmourn Precon for a 5/5 human assassin, which makes him an outlaw. But he has Menace. Your opponents can't gain life, and whenever an opponent casts their first spell each turn, choose another player. Lord of Pain deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to the chosen player. Nehemiah, what do you think, Lord of Pain?
Just on the art, it's super sick art. If you haven't seen it, his face parts are on like different TV screens and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But if you look at it close, he just has a floating like hand. The hand is the only 3D part. Everything else is on the TV. Like, I want to know how that works.
Right.
Otherwise, one of our play group, Brayton has this deck.
Yeah, he does.
I think he deconstructed it.
He did.
So, did he say why?
I think he just didn't like it.
I think it was more that like we all hated it.
Yeah.
We just hated it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like how he played it, which I think is probably the funny way to play it, is like you just go, okay, you cast the spell, pick who gets hit. And then it's like, I don't want to pick. No, you're going to pick. Otherwise it's you or whatever. Not another player, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think that as a hope player, I hate this card. I want my life. Give it to me. I earned it. Don't tell me I can't. So this is anti-hope. So I'm anti it. So I'm giving this power-wise. I would honestly, it is an A probably, maybe B, depending on like what cards they're playing. But for how much I hate this card, C.
Yeah, it's on the list for speed the game up commanders,
Definitely.
where it'll go pretty quick if somebody's playing this. Like, you have this and Mogus in the same pod, the game's gonna last like 2 minutes. I will say from keeping it from like a D on the unfun is the choice part of it is supposed to be kind of a social interaction thing.
Yeah.
And so, when Braden was like, well, you pick who it is, I started to pick myself to garnish favor from everybody else of like, I'll take the damage. Because that's the whole point, is if he makes us choose.
I think we were doing that wrong too, because it says choose another player. So I think you can't pick yourself. Now that I read it.
Oh, yeah.
I know that sometimes,
well,
a lot of us can't read.
He always picked it when it was like, say if I cast spell and you cast, but he goes, just hit me.
Oh, yeah.
That's how he was doing
Got
it.
it.
He just became the lightning rod.
I was like, I know a lot of the times we can't read, so I was like, I was worried.
No.
Because if you don't, if it's that awkward, like, oh, you got to punch somebody, then we start hitting each other out of like,
like, I
revenge.
guess. Yeah.
And so I was doing it to try. We just got to kill this guy. And so that's probably why I started to take the deck apart, is because once your play group realizes like you just have to kill the Lord of Plane player. Like the best removal is player removal. And so we had to kill him. Like it was a race against time. We have to do it because we can't gain life.
That's one thing I really liked about it is like, I don't know. I definitely, I've said it before. I have decks where the counter is just kill me. Like my John Aranicus deck, just kill me. And I really like that. I know that he isn't really a big fan of being taken out first, but I also really love Saw and things like that. So being like having that aspect where you're like hit me and then we'll go after him is really good into that reference as well. Where it's like you have to make a compromise. You make your choice. So I think for me, I gave it a B just because I think it's really fun. I love politics and things like that. But you guys are saying C.
Well, he's saying D, right?
No, I said C. C.
Okay.
I think you should build this every once in a while. This is like one of the decks I think you have on the side, and you're like, I'll bring out something like random to spice up your pod every once in a while.
To speed up the game.
Yeah, like just very randomly. Like if you're playing with the same people like frequently, like we've been playing like every week for a long time now, and we've been like, okay, next week come with different decks just to change it up. Yeah. Because if you're like, okay, another Lord of Pain deck. All right. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I'm just going to hit you or whatever it is. So I think this is a good one that you should like bring out every once in a while. So I don't think you should not build it, but I just think it's C as like an overall commander.
Okay.
It's a 5/5 with menace too.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
Yeah, which is solid. So if it didn't have the can't gain life aspect, I wouldn't be near
I think I'd give it an A.
on it. Yeah. The score would go way up because people could heal through it, and then it wouldn't be such a like, I gotta kill you or otherwise I'm just gonna die kind of feeling. So
C.
Yeah, C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lord of Pain goes to C tier.
The hope score.
Another one, recent deck as well. Recent commander is Ozai, the Phoenix King. For 2 black, red. You get a 7/7 with trample, firebending 4, haste. Firebending 4 is when you attack with this creature, you get 4 mana, and it lasts through combat or through
through combat, and it's 4 red mana.
Yeah, it's 4 red mana.
Yep.
But if you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes red instead. And then Ozai has flying and indestructible as long as you have 6 or more unspent mana. So it's basically 6 mana for a 7/7, flying, trample, indestructible, firebending 4 with haste. How does that sound to you, Kyle?
I love it. I honestly, I'm on a journey to build every single color combination. That's why I kind of really enjoy going through all of these and kind of talking with these guys. And this guy was on my list. I'm like, I kind of want to build him. So I really like this card. I think it's very strong. It's kind of unique where you don't get you don't lose your mana, which is really cool. But I also kind of makes you targets. I permanently have mana floating. So maybe that's kind of a problem. But I don't know. I think for a 7, that word soup, I love the word soup. I think SA power, fun. I'm not sure. I think it's a very strong card.
Mm-hmm.
It really depends because, I don't know. I would think just make it into a Voltron almost and just start whacking people. I think that would be kind of fun. So I think Voltron style would kind of lower the unfun score that you could make this. So taking that into consideration, I would say it's probably a B or an A. I think. What do you think, Nehemiah?
It is a good card. I think the reason it can't be S on power is because it costs 6 mana.
True.
And no card draw.
Which is actually in its favor for our overall score, because if it was, 4 mana, I would hate it. So there's that. I'm looking on EDH Rec. What I want to know is how often are people playing the big X spells? So things like Torment of Hailfire, where you just save up 30 mana and just
crack it with
everybody.
power.
Yeah. So it's looking like 50% inclusion on stuff like that. So
there's 6,408 decks, and then decks that are specifically tagged X spells is 114 of them.
Yeah.
But then again, some people in that 6,000 don't tag. Exactly.
Yeah, that's
so
I'm more looking at the card and then just see the inclusion
percentage
rate for all of them is, I think, a little bit more of a clear indicator.
Yeah, I know when I've played against this deck, he is a menace. He doesn't have menace, thankfully, but he is a menace. He just comes in flying and then kicks you 3 times and you're out. The deck I saw was big spells plus equipment. It was double X spells and Voltron at the same time. And yeah, this dude just comes in and just knocks you out quickly. Obviously, it takes a while to get there. It's black, red too. But once he's out, he's basically indestructible the whole time. But I think he's fun. I give him a B, just because there's different ways to build him.
I'm fine with the B.
that's what I said for the record.
Cool. B, B,
I said B as well.
Ozai is B. Next one here we've got from Jumpstart. It is Evereth, Viceroy of Plunder. This is 2 in black for a 2/2 vampire soldier with flying. You sacrifice, it has an activated ability to sacrifice another creature or artifact. You put a 1/1 counter on Evereth. If the permanent was a treasure, Evereth gains lifelink until end of the turn. You can activate this only as a sorcery, but when Evereth dies, you may pay 1 and a Rakdos hybrid mana. And when you do, Evereth deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. So this basically fixes what I wanted Jury to do. But what's your opinion on Evereth?
I don't mind it. It's a lot, but I think that it's power wise A. If you do it correctly, maybe B.
Okay.
Unfun, I wouldn't say it's unfun at all. I've seen this deck a bunch. I've seen it do nothing. I've seen it do something. And I think that's probably what you're expecting out of your commander deck. It's sometimes it does nothing and sometimes it does the thing, which is nice. So that's why I don't think it's that unfun to play against. And I like that it does damage to each opponent. So you can just explode it.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So, and then you can play those enchantments that bring it back to life at after it dies. So if it doesn't one shot everyone, you can still have your commander out in black and red. So I like it a lot, honestly. I think it's definitely honestly B. I know we're flooding the B's, but I think
that's fine.
I think it's definitely B.
All right, I'm gonna make the argument for C, maybe even D.
Oh.
I think this commander on the power level is caca. Super bad.
Damn. That's 2 of me.
Sorry, Braden, but Braden has this commander, and every time he plays it, I'm like, I don't know what that thing does, but it never does anything.
Yeah.
I think the main reason
it's a whole lot of nothing. You just cast it over and over again, nothing ever happens. It's like, everybody takes 2. Okay. I think like 3 turns, I take 2. That's
a big
fine.
problem with it too is the sorcery speed on that ability. I know when Braden first built it, he thought it was instant speed, and it'd be way better.
Yes,
because you can just pump it up in the middle of combat and then hit someone for a ton. I do think it's better than Jury though, because it does hit everyone for that damage. So if you are building a lot into the treasure theme with this deck, and you can just at sorcery speed increase it by 1, and then try and blow her up. But I think overall, I'd probably. I think I gave Jury a C, so I think I'm gonna give this one also a C.
This is a weird one where it's actually more fun for the table because you're not doing anything than it is for the person playing. Because like what you said, the sorcery part sucks, and then you have to pay the mana.
Yeah, after it dies.
Like a lot of times, he's tapped out, boop, and then he has to pay 5 mana to cast her again, build her up again, and then make sure to have 2 mana floating at all times so you actually get the ability. Like she is garbage on the power level. So I would say like F on power. A, as far as like, hey, go ahead and play it, dude. Like, have a good old time. You do you. I'm not gonna shit talk it to your face, but like, whatever. I don't know. I mean, this might be good if you're like beating everybody up at your play group and you need to like neuter yourself. That's the only reason I don't want to give it a like don't build. So I think, to be fair, a C, but.
I'm convinced because literally, like as you said, like I've seen it doesn't really do much, but then sometimes it does something. So it's like C.
So Evereth going down to a C tier. Next up, this one is very unique. I think this is very fun. It's from a set I really like that I might want to talk about later. But it's Magar of the Magic Strings. 1 black red for a 3/3 Minotaur performing. And I'm going to read you a whole paragraph. For 1 black red, you get to note the name of target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard and put it onto the battlefield as face down. It's a 3/3 creature with whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may create a copy of the card with its noted name. So the sorcery side on the bottom right. You may cast it for free, and another thing it gains, if this creature would leave the battlefield, you exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. I think this card is overall A on power, A on fun. I think this is really cool. It's probably one of the next decks I'm going to build. But Khan, what do you think of Magar?
I think that's pretty sick, honestly. I'm just not looking forward to your blasphemous act at the bottom, or what the edict one, the where you sack everything. I'm just looking for the board wipes, but I really like it, and I think it can get really creative and unique. So I think I agree with your analysis. I think A, and it's a 3/3 for 3, could be better, but that paragraph is paragraphing. And he's a Minotaur performer, so.
And he's from Infinity.
Exactly. What else do you need? What do you think, Nehemiah?
I like it a lot. I look at it like as a designer sometimes. I'm thinking I could see this be, tap it, pay 3. The fact that it's just 3 mana colon, and once you get to 6 mana, you could start doing it 2 times a turn.
Yep.
I think is what really puts it in the like fun and powerful range. There's a cost to it. There's setup. You have to really plan your deck and your game plan around it. I want to put it in S tier. I think power wise it's probably A, but fun, I think it's fun for the whole table. There's some admin work you got to do, like get little sticky notes. And be like,
that's definitely something I'd do if I build this,
right? Like, or have a copy. Like I can print cards, so I might print like the blasphemous act, but with like power and toughness 3/3 on it, to like put it on top, just so people know what it is. But I think it's awesome.
I think S is you convinced me.
I'll go to S.
Let's do S.
S tier for Magar. That's my next build. Get excited to see it. Cool. Now for the grand finale. This is a card that was a little out of order from when we first did the rankings on this tier list, but it's going to be Blim Comedic Genius. It's 2 black red for a 4/3 imp with flying. Whenever Blim deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of target permanent you control. Then each player loses life and discards cards equal to the number of permanents they control but don't own. I definitely like this one. It's similar to another deck I have, but Nehemiah, what do you think of Blim?
I love this card. I mean, this is definitely my kind of jam because you're finding cards that are not normally in commander decks, right? Stuff that like actively hurts you. It's like your T deck, your Iroh deck in white red. This is just a black red version of it. And there's a lot more options in black for the, hey, this helps you, but it also hurts you kind of aspect of it. Things like Demonic Pact, which is a 4-mana enchantment. It says at the beginning of your upkeep, you choose one that hasn't been chosen. This enchantment deals 4 damage to target any target, and you gain 4 life. That's good for you. Target opponent discards 2 cards. That's bad for them. Draw 2 cards. That's good for you. And then the 4th option, you lose the game. So I think this is a fun kind of card to build around of like high risk, high reward. You know, people see it coming. So if you have a way to give it to somebody and then they have a way to, you know, stop you from doing that, you lose the game. So that kind of card, you're playing cards that are hilarious. You're playing a strategy that's hilarious. Everything lives up to the comedic genius name. So I think this is another S tier where power is maybe a B, you know, because it's chaotic. Like sometimes you do just end up hurting yourself with the cards you put in your deck.
Yeah.
But I think it creates fun moments for the table. And if somebody's like, hey, can I play my Blim deck? I'm always going to say yes. So that's a big deal for opponents to want to see it. Even if you end up winning, like if they had a good time in the process, like that's what I want to build in my commander decks.
Okay. Kyle?
When I was talking about making an Iroh deck, you brought up Blim and you said I should build him. And I was like, but Iroh, that's fun. But then I'm like, this is also really fun. But I think this is worse for the opponent. You're discarding cards. Like,
yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I also do love the idea of just like harmless offering things to people. I think that's funny. And like, there's so many cards. And like, in my experience, like these kinds of decks where you're giving away your permanents because they're garbage, they're literal garbage. They're the cheapest decks and the most fun to play.
Yeah.
I think so. I can just with my experience playing my Iroh deck and just the different colors, I think Blim definitely an S. I'd agree with that.
Okay, so we've got S and S. Okay,
An
nice.
S?
I'm gonna give it an A.
Oh,
and I'm gonna have multiple reasons for this. S on Pilot, I love these decks. This is like triple S plus for me. I love giving away garbage and having people deal with it. I know when I play my John Arenicus deck, some people absolutely hate it because you'll play a lot of the same cards in this one too. John Arenicus does the same effect for black and blue, except they are goated. Right. So this one's a little more flexible because you can give them, you know, really bad artifacts and things like that. Except for me, a really big thing that drives it down is the discard part of Blim. I think if Blim didn't have that discard effect, which people, you know, hand hate is probably worse than land hate because then you can't even play lands if you have them. But if it didn't have that, I think this would be full S all around. But I think only because of the discard, I give it an A. But overall, S. Build this. These decks are super fun.
I'm not going to give it any down points for the discard because it is each player loses life and discards. It would not be as good.
Oh, it is
power
you also.
Yes. So there's stuff of like when I discard, I draw. Like it's, I just think it's fair. It's all happening to everybody, and there's so much card advantage in Magic the Gathering these days. We could all stand to discard a couple cards. Like, yeah. I feel like this card has become better and better over time. I like it. I like it.
Besides, I'm trying to think like, besides like harmless offering, how do you give everything away?
You just hate people.
Well, with Blim does it.
Well, with Blim.
Blim when he deals combination player. See,
and he's
reading, speaking, and understanding is very difficult for me.
I feel that.
I love Magic the Gathering.
Cool. So S for Blim. And that'll complete the list of our top 20 commanders that we had selected. Do you guys have anything else to say about Rakdos in general? Or just straight to the plugs?
I do want to say, like, probably should say this in the beginning of the episode, but we do it in down below in the description, have the same tier list that we just did. So you should make it and then show us your tier list. I'm very curious. What do you guys think?
What
Yeah.
color combination do you want us to do next?
That too. That's a good one. Or otherwise I'll make Nehemiah pick one, and you guys don't get to pick. But yeah, Nehemiah.
Golgari.
Golgari. Okay, there we go. So, anything else you want to say?
Nope, that's it.
All right, let's plug it. Oh, that's me plugging it, huh?
Yeah, you got to take it away.
All right. We're all over. You guys know the drill. I don't need to list out all the social media platforms. Leave comments down below. We really appreciate the support. And thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
Cool. See ya.
Adios.